Gentlemen, we are continuing the special coverage of the Paris International Conference on Libya, hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron and attended by a number of world leaders, heads of governments and top officials. To shed more light on the conference and the participation of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in the conference upon the invitation of his French counterpart, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Cherif Amir, Professor of International Relations. A very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, a very important gathering, world powers coming from all over the world, just to speak about what's going on in Libya ahead of the elections due on December 24th. How do you see the timing, sir?
Well, of course, this kind of meeting is the preparation for the ground of the landmark elections that will happen in December 24th. We all know that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi prepared all this stability that we are seeing now in Libya, and I think that the meeting with his French counterpart, President Macron, is about how to find a solution for the existing the security problems there. We all know that Turkey has pushed its mercenaries on Libya. Turkey is trying to ruin all what we have done, but I think that the cooperation between Egypt and France, and Egypt and our partners in the other parts of the Mediterranean, in Europe, it's about how to fight terrorism, how to fight the illegal immigration, and the source is Libya. So the most important thing, we have done numerous gains there. We have managed to strengthen the Libyan National Army. President Sisi, when he drew the red line in Jafra and Sirte, it was a landmark step which gave the whole international community a sign that Egypt is capable of maintaining peace and stability. And then President Sisi hosted all the conferences of the national unity in Libya. We never sided with a part against the other. We never intervened in Libya's internal affairs, but we warned the international community that there has to be stability in this country and security. So I think what we're witnessing today is the third step, because the first step, it was strengthening the army, then and then there was the Prime Minister Dubeba who was named, and now there will be the third step, which is the elections. And I think that now it's very clear to all the nations that Egypt is guaranteeing the peace and the security. But we have to be very, very prudent and vigilant, because we all know that the elements who are pushing terrorism and pushing the mercenaries into Libya, they won't stand still. They will act. They would like to sabotage what we are doing. So that's why this meeting is crucial, because it will make things clear that France and Egypt working together, that President Sisi is still working around the clock to bring peace and stability in Libya.
Yes, amen to that, sir. And this is the Egyptian stance in general. I mean, since we were presiding over the African Union, one of the most important initiatives that we have launched is silencing the guns. Silencing the guns in Africa in general. And of course, when it comes to our neighboring countries, it's even another priority. Libya is our western gate. So its national security is part and parcel of our national security. And to add to what you have kindly mentioned, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was keen also to meet with the French defense minister, and he talked with her about boosting military relations, military ties, taking into consideration that Cairo and Paris are combating terrorism, are against violence, against extremism, and if the military intervention is needed, we are ready. If you want to elaborate on that, sir.
Of course, the meeting with French Defense Minister Florence Parly is very important, because we all know that France is now having its military or navy. Its navy is present in the Mediterranean. They had already a clash with Turkey when they were pushing with the mercenaries, and it created a huge problem inside NATO. Both countries are members of NATO. So I think now NATO is not the priority for France. They know they have to find other reliable allies in the Mediterranean. And of course, Egypt is the reliable ally because we don't make any blackmail about the refugees. We never threatened about terrorism. We never destabilize the frontiers of Europe. On the contrary, we are working on around the clock with our French counterparts about maintaining security, fighting terrorism, fighting illegal immigration. So I think the meeting with President Sisi, when President Sisi meets the defense officials in France, is for strengthening this cooperation. We all know that France, when it sold the Rafale to Egypt and the Mistral, it wasn't for nothing. They don't sell these equipments to any nations. They sell it to the powerful nations who do not make any aggression and work in stability. And adding to that, we are still working inside the Mediterranean, East Mediterranean also, because we share the same, let's say, the same worries about what Turkey is trying to do. So the message is very clear.
And I was also happy to see President Nikos Anastasiades of Cyprus and the Greek Prime Minister, meaning that all these issues are going to be collected together on the agenda of talks, as you kindly mentioned, because we cannot separate the borders in the water, in the sea. And there are things which should be taken in a firm way to guarantee the safety and security of all nations. Dr. Cherif, I'd like also to speak a little bit, if you permit me, about the reconstruction process and about who should participate. With international relations, is it going only to be the world powers, or I can guarantee that also the IMF, for example, the World Bank, the Arab League, the African Union, all the bodies, all the international bodies are going to share, to participate, because when Libya is secured and safe, I think not only the neighboring country and also the north side of the Mediterranean is going also to enjoy security and safety.
Well, let's make it clear, the first country who dared to step inside Libya for building this country again, it was Egypt. And we remember the visit of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli with head of Egyptian companies there, and we started inaugurating businesses there. We gave their message to the whole world, dare to go there. There is possibilities to rebuild this country. And we are, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said it from the beginning, fighting terrorism is not only about arms, it's about ideology. So if you find jobs for the young people there, it creates possibilities of working and developing their own country. Europe would be battling terrorism and illegal immigration at the same time, and they are a win-win operation. So
yes.
I think we gave this message very clearly that the world has to work with Libya, and we are guaranteeing that. So I think that President Sisi will encourage also the IMF, to encourage European nations to get involved in Libya's economy. It's not only about oil, no, it's also about creating jobs there.
And the best guarantee is the Egyptian experience, what we did here, and we are ready to exchange experiences, we are ready to exchange expertise, and to fight terrorism with development and building. Well, Dr. Cherif Amir, Professor of International Relations, thank you very much for your input, sir. Have a very good evening.